Hi everyone. This video is going to go over our grade contract for the course. Um, so when you open our Blackboard site and you scroll down to grading and feedback policy, like that, you click there and it will open our grade contract. So a grade contract is really very simple, even if it sounds kind of complicated. I'll read through this with you. So this section of English 101 is going to use a grade contract to determine your final grade for the course. Rather than assigning individual grades for each assignment, the contract sets forth specific expectations for the labor you need to put into the course to achieve the final grade that you would like. Your work itself doesn't receive points or letter grades in a traditional sense, but it'll be recorded as satisfactory and get a 1 if it meets the requirements and it's turned in on time, or unsatisfactory if you don't turn it in, or you turn it in late, or it's not finished and doesn't follow guidelines. And if it's unsatisfactory, it will receive a 0. So this outlines what satisfactory coursework looks like. I really like grade contracts because it helps students focus on reading and writing and not worrying about the grade that they're going to get. As long as you are making a good faith effort and doing required work, you'll know what grade to expect. And you get to decide the amount of time that you are going to put into this course at the beginning of the semester. You decide how much time you are able to put into it, and then you select the appropriate grade to contract for. Just make sure you review the expectations carefully before you decide. Get a good idea of what you need to do to get an A or a B and so forth. Beginning with an A, if you're contracting for an A, you have to turn your work in on time, and you can't be late on more than 10% of assigned work. For that matter, you can't be late on 10% of the assigned work without being subject to failing the course. You cannot have, I said that wrong. You cannot have more than 3 instances of late work and get an A, unless it is discussed with me because things have come up, but we'll get into that later in this video. Your weekly writing assignments, which are short, frequent writing assignments that prepare you for specific class activities, you have to turn in at least 11 out of 12 of those to get an A. You have to engage in scheduled peer reviews. We won't actually be using Google Drive necessarily for this course. I think I've found an easier way for us to share our assignments with each other when we peer review. You have to complete all core writing projects, which include the literacy narrative, the rhetorical analysis, synthesis, and portfolio. Those assignments are designed to help you learn, develop, and express new ways of reading, thinking, and writing. And if you are not engaging in those, you aren't taking anything from the class. You're not getting the skill set that you need if you're not actively engaging in those assignments. So you have to complete all of those if you want an A in this course. If you fail to complete any of them, you may end up failing the course unless we have talked about an alternative. But you do have to turn all of them in. We have a digital project remediation where you plan and complete a significant reworking of one of your core writing projects. It's the most fun part of the semester, in my opinion. I absolutely love the digital projects, and it sounds intimidating, but you can do it. It's fun. It's meant to be fun. You don't have to be a pro at using whatever medium you choose, but it's really enjoyable. You also have to complete an e-portfolio. Students who meet the requirements for an A but don't complete the e-portfolio will earn a C. If you're contracting for a B, you agree to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 above, but you can have 4 pieces of late work submitted. You can complete 10 out of 12 of the weekly writing assignments and still get a B. You can miss 1 peer review, and if you don't complete the e-portfolio, but you do meet the requirements for a B, you will get a D. You have to complete the e-portfolio. Students contracting for C agree to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 above, but you can have 5 late work submissions. You only have to complete at least 9 out of 12 of the weekly writing assignments, which are brief. They are not major writing assignments. They are just to get us brainstorming and thinking and interacting with the content that we're reading this semester. They're super simple. As long as you're doing them, you'll do fine. Students who meet the requirements for a C but don't complete the e-portfolio will fail the course. Satisfactory coursework was outlined above, but here is the criteria for unsatisfactory coursework. If you complete fewer than 9 out of 12, but at least half of the weekly writing assignments, that's unsatisfactory. If you don't participate in three or more peer reviews, if you don't submit all the core assignments, but after revision, if you submit all the core assignments, but after revision, you still don't meet significant requirements for one or more of those assignments. If you do not complete or submit a satisfactory e-portfolio, and if you have otherwise earned a final grade of D based on weekly writing assignments and peer reviews and things like that, but you don't complete the e-portfolio, that's an automatic fail. If you accrue more than 7 unexcused submissions of late work, fewer than half of the weekly writing assignments, or you fail to submit one or more core assignments, unless we've negotiated an alternative, that's a fail. So make sure you read through these carefully before you decide what you would like to contract for. Remember, you can change it at midterms and you can adjust it again at the end of the semester. I have a lot of students who are like, well, I'm going to contract for a B and see where it goes. And then there's a lot of students that are like, hey, I've got all this extra time on my hands. I'm going to go ahead and contract for an A. An A is achievable in this course if you're doing the work. It does not have to be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect writer. I'm not a perfect writer. None of us are. But it's about the practice. Writing is recursive. When we are writing a paper, we return to it and we rework parts of it and we adjust words and phrasing and all of these little things and we edit and we revise and we draft some more and generate more material. And those different aspects of writing are always in flux with one another. And we're always moving between all of the different ways we could interact with our writing. So there is no perfect writing. You never have a reason to feel embarrassed. You never have a reason to feel like you are not doing as good as anyone else in the class because you are here. You deserve to be here and you're going to do amazing. Just make sure you're completing the assignments. And if you do have questions about an assignment, reach out to me, send me an email, reach out to me on Discord and say, hey, Elle, can we meet and talk through this assignment? Or we can talk about it through email. It really doesn't matter to me. Just know that you can do this. An A is achievable. You've got this. So at the end of the semester, we'll have a final grade negotiation where you sit down, you look at all of the work that you completed, and you tell me what you put your grade at that point. And we'll reflect on everything and we'll decide what your final grade is for the course according to the requirements outlined. Plagiarism, for those, most of you should be familiar with this concept. But make sure you are submitting your own work. All work submitted for this course has to be your own work and done specifically for this course. Failure of so if you submit work that isn't yours, you can fail this course. Academic dishonesty is a violation of the Code of Student Conduct, and it can trigger further penalties in addition to a reduction in the final grade or failure. So make sure you are not plagiarizing, abusing AI, and things like that, or you will fail this course. Or if you don't fail it, there will at least be a very tangible penalty. And then there is the plea. So if at any point during the semester things get overwhelming or you've fallen behind or you don't know how to move forward, if there is an illness or someone in your family passes or you get really sick or you're having to take care of someone who's really sick or you're working multiple jobs or whatever it is, reach out to me and we will figure out a way to navigate that situation. You can use the plea one time over the course of the semester. You have to arrange a Zoom meeting with me and we can renegotiate the terms of the contract in cases of extenuating circumstances. We can look for alternatives um, to the assignments and figure out what would work best for everyone for you to be able to complete this course. The plea isn't an out for anyone who happens to not fulfill part of the contract, but it's for rare or unusual circumstances that are outside of your control. The plea does not guarantee that you're going to be able to pass the course, because sometimes dropping a course is the only way that you can really adequately, I guess, rectify what's going on. If you need to redo the course, there's no shame in that, because I have had to do that in the past. Things in life happen. But if we can find a way around it, we will find a way around it with the plea. You will receive feedback normally within a week of the submission of your work, with some exceptions. You can find your grades in Blackboard under Gradebook. Everything will be listed there. And you can find midterm and final grades here at Student Self-Service. So that's everything for the grade contract. I'm a huge fan of labor-based grading. As long as you are putting in the time and the writing, you will do wonderfully. You're going to do excellent. Just make sure you are completing your work, and everything should be fine. So that's everything for the grade contract. I will put up a couple of videos this week for you guys to view, looking at various things in the class that you need to be able to operate, or just in general going over the class. I'm so excited to work with you guys. I really cannot wait. But that is all for this video, and I will see you all soon.